Hey y'all, it's the Calm Corner Show. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Now let's get into it. Hey Soul Family, back again. Happy New Year to you guys. New cycle, new year. So I'm Erica, your favorite Astro homegirl, and welcome back for all you guys that's been riding with me, and welcome to all of you guys that are new here. And for all of you guys that are new, I always do a little bit of the astrology first on the person or place of things or whatever we're getting into. It helps the energy for me better when it's time for me to get down to the read and get down to the cards. So let's get into it. So this one, guys, is gonna be, I guess we're gonna do this update on Teyana Taylor and Pierre because they just most recently split. And I actually have done recorded a few, pre-record people we're gonna do, but things just kind of keep coming up in the midst of. So we're gonna go with this energy right now and do them too, okay? So I pulled up Teyana's chart, and she is New York born, all right? And she is a Sagittarius sun, guys, okay? And let's see where she's a Sagittarius. Okay, wow. So Teyana Taylor is a true Sagittarius sun through and through. She's the Sagittarius sun in the 9th house that Sagittarius rules in its house of home. She also has other few placements in that area as well. So her Venus is in Sag. And okay, so Venus is there. Look like Mercury. It's going into Capricorn. Okay, so it's at the tip of the chart. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at how it's placement there. It's like the degrees are some are more extreme than others, but her sun is in his house of home, which is a favorite area, which, even kind of shows to her energy of how she's able to continue to explore and continue to expand, in her life, in her career, as she goes forward and pushes forward, because not only is Sagittarius 9th house on the astrology wheel, but their planetary ruler is Jupiter. So expansion is always, a part of her life, And by her Venus being there, that definitely explains her energy of, alternative energy when it comes to dating and, even sexuality for that matter. So a lot of her chart truly aligns to who she is. So let's see, she has a Libra moon, which even backs that up even further, right? And that Libra moon is in it, very favored. So she's like a beautiful star, really, and she is, that's true. So I love it for her because Libra is the partnership house, all right? And by her moon being there, it's always, she probably can kind of fight herself sometimes, maybe with that Libra partnership house, and then that Sagittarius being, house of home, because Sag is hard to tame, But Venus rules that house, and look like she got some favorite energy there. And her Mars is in Gemini, so she's even more, that explains even another step further. Mars is, where you take action, what, keeps you going, but also your sexual libido. And when it's in that Gemini energy, that's the energy of like, still, it's like fighting a fight within the Sag. It's like not tameable, or in all type of different ways I'm sorry, y'all. My thing, I think, is showing as I'm recording. I apologize. But it's interesting because that Gemini is different partners, variety, you know. Hey, it's what it is. So she's an energy to somewhat be tamed, you know, in an essence, in a sense. And it's interesting because her Jupiter is in Leo and it's in partnerships. Okay. She's a star too. And that's what that house is all about. So she'll continue to have favor. Her Pluto is in Scorpio. Wow, that's even more powerful. That's why she's just, you know, has that mysterious sexiness about her, you know, with this Scorpio placement. And by Pluto being there, transformations in her life. But as we can see, she is and has gone through, you know, quite a few transformations, because her and Iman Shumpert have a beautiful family. But, you know, that's a transformation from being married to, I think they're divorced. I'm not sure, but if not, I think it's on the table, or that's what they're trying to do. Transformation, and like we've seen in how she moves, her sexuality, you know, who she dates, different things like that. So her chart is really through and through a line, but it's also a powerful chart because, you know, through those transformation power comes. It seems like, you know, after her and Iman parted ways, she's soared in a lot of ways. She's been on All's Fair, looks really good on there about anyway, but in many other things since then, and at the Met Gala, you know, or gala, doing all of these things. So it's in her energy to be this way. And really, anybody who tries to tame her, being just a true Sagittarius in his house or home, is going to be a lot of challenges there, you know. So let's see where her Saturn is, and let's move on to see what Mr. Pierre is all about. So, okay, so her Saturn is in Capricorn, which that's even powerful too. And one thing about Saturn is rewards, and Capricorn, that's powerful because it's in his house or home too. So her dark placements are very powerful placements. That's interesting. I've never really seen that, but that's what's up. So she's definitely a force, like a true force, that is, guys. What's her Taurus? Let me see. Okay, so it's the Gemini placement. And then, again, like I said, with her putting in hard work, rewards come. And she's been putting in work when it comes to career-wise, and that's a fact. So let's get on down to Mr. Pierre and see what's up with him. And if these two really connected, because at the end of the day, what was said about these two is that they are a PR relationship. So a lot of people felt that this relationship was PR, you know, not genuine. And I never really did a reading on them, so I guess we're just going to pull and see. We'll see what comes out when we get down to the reading, you know. Okay, so this is her chart. I thought I pulled his chart up. Let's see. No, that's Iman's. Okay. And we got to do Kanye too, y'all, because he said he's going to be running for president, child. So we got to do a politics day too, where we do Trump, we do J.D. Vance. We still need to get into Erica Kirkchild and that Candace Owens. We got a lot to cover, including me getting y'all, you know, top of the year messages and just personal reading. But we going to get it done, though. Okay, so Mr. Pierre, guys, he is Southall, England. So he is, you know, foreign, which meets really would likely be her type, because, you know, foreign Sagittarius, the explorer, right? Travel. And so from foreign lands, he's foreign. So that's her type. So we can tell automatically, you know, it's some form of attraction before we even get to the chart, right? So, Aaron Pierre, guys, born Aaron Pierre Jordan. Again, he's from the South Hall, England, the UK. Wait a minute. It's not the right person. Hold on. Here it is. That didn't look like Mustafa, child. But they got the same. But they are foreign born, if I'm not mistaken, right? Let me see. I'm making sure I'm pulling up the right chart. Just bear with me, guys, for a few seconds, because maybe that's why I came out of it anyway. Let me make sure we're pulling up the right person. Here it is. I'll just go on this site. It just does it from a different standpoint, but it's still pretty much the same messages across the board. But he is Aaron Pierre, right? So you see, he's a June 7th. This is the correct one. He's a sun, a Gemini sun. So let's just already say that for us who doubted, even out the gate, we're going to go back to her chart. And if I'm not mistaken, her Gemini, let me tell you something. Her Mars, guys, is in Gemini, and that's what I thought. And let me say something. With that being said, that's your sexual libido. These two had good sex. I'm talking really good, okay? She wasn't lying when she said that either. Moon in Taurus. Ooh. And her moon is in Libra. It seems like they should go. They're both Venus-ruled signs. So this could have really been something really, really good, right? So he has a Mercury in Cancer. Let's see what her Cancer house was for her. Oh. And I think she said something about him meeting her emotional needs, or, you know, like a healing energy. And it makes sense, guys, because her Chiron is in Cancer. And that's the wounded healer, right? And her wound is in his house of home. And by him having that Mercury, he communicates to her very well. And that's how he's able to meet her emotional needs. His Venus is also in Cancer. So they do have good sex, and they connect very well emotionally. I'm almost interested to see why did they split, right? It's a lot of favorite placements here. His Mars is in Taurus. And that's his sexual, how he takes action, resources. So let's see what house is in, because he can probably be a bit opportunistic, allegedly, but let's check it out and see. Or if that could be something that could be possible, you know? She didn't have any. But she meant to have favor in, you know, financials in his lifetime, because the Taurus is in his house of home. So let's see where his Taurus is. Where is his wheel? In his house of home. Yeah. That's what moves him. That's where he takes action and resources. And see, his Jupiter is in Scorpio. And her Pluto is in Scorpio. This is a hell of a connection. I ain't even gonna hold you. Because he got favor in that house, power. Oh, we can watch to see what's to come for him, baby, in the future. You hear me? Through his transformations bring power. His Uranus and his Neptune is in Capricorn. And it's in the house of career, the industry. So it's for him to also be a powerhouse here. And Neptune is the industry, so he's doing what he's destined here to do. It's in the messages. I mean, it's in his chart. I'm talking about it's in his destiny, technically. And his Chiron is in Virgo. In his house of home. So wound could be in the workplace or in the daily routines and how he gets stuff done. And sometimes maybe it even can be in health. So that's an interesting placement. Seems like these two should have connected though. Because it looked like with 1 week, one can make one strong. So let's get into the messages and see what's up with them, right? And before we go, let's check out Iman Shumpert. Because he's been doing the country wanking skits and he's doing a good job on them. I ain't even gonna hold you. It's been kind of, you know, I'm glad Wayne is starting to integrate stuff like that in the skits. If y'all watch Country Wayne skits. Yeah, those have been good. So he is a, so Iman, oh, okay, so he's June 26th. That is still a Cancer sun. That's my grandmama's birthday. So he's a Cancer sun with a Leo moon. He's a star. He's supposed to really be one. Let's see what his placements are though. So he's a true Cancer in his house of his home. This is the connection between him and Teyana. Because it's a wound there. And this relationship, I'm sure, is they like a karmic or twin flame or soulmate vibe. Because just looking at, he has other placements, and if I'm not mistaken, his Chiron is in Cancer too. And it's interesting because these two parted ways due to, you know, emotionally between each other. And they both have that wounded, you know, warrior energy in that area. She's the mother of his children. That's interesting. His moon is in Leo. So these two are soulmates. Because let me go back to her chart. Something in her Leo placement. Let's go back. Her Jupiter. Wow. Moon. They supposed to be together, y'all. That's so messed up. Look at that. That's powerful. Sorry for the pause. Sometimes it'd be good to get into this so you can kind of see stuff before it even kind of happens, right? So these fallouts are kind of like a part of the whole, what they got to go through in this lifetime. His Jupiter is in Cancer. Get out. And Jupiter is in Cancer now. So that explains why we starting to see him do more projects and starting to come out and do more things. But that wound with women, how you got into it with them women, Somebody got, y'all was, he live a three-way lifestyle. Let's get to what his Venus is and stuff like that. Because that'll let me know why he's such a, a three-way person or a poly type of man, right? Because the energy that they said that just recently was in the news was a dispute between him and two other women. And one woman, like you said, three can be a crowd at times, right? So his Mercury, guys, is in Gemini. And that's very favorable. It's in his house of home. He's supposed to be doing big things. But by that wounding Cancer, he can let his emotions fuck him up. And he get caught up into stupid shit. The Saturn, the challenges are in career. Look, Capricorn. But it's power there. So this is the thing. It's similar. He has Uranus there as well and Neptune. So definitely supposed to be a part of the industry. Uranus being there, Uranus brings power. They all have a relationship, Saturn and Uranus do. So it's very interesting that through, in a sense, and see his Pluto is powerful. So him and Teyana got the same Pluto. So maybe that's the ending part of them. But by them both having such a powerhouse Pluto house, it's kind of almost like an ending that would have to come, that could possibly come back and transform and be better, the next time around. Now, whether they get it right in this lifetime or the next is interesting. We'll have to see how it all plays out for them. But his North Node is in Aquarius. That's and it's in his house of home. Let's see what's on her chart for Aquarius. Oh, yeah. These two right here, baby. Do y'all know that these two are soulmates through and through? Both of their North Nodes are in Aquarius. They were meant to have those babies. Jupiter in Cancer. He was there to bring them through. She got a wounded energy in that area. So he came through. Look at that. That's real powerful. With her and Iman. So his Venus is in Gemini with that Aquarius placement. Both of them, they into a poly lifestyle. But by that Saturn placement and Capricorn energy, it's still kind of like in a sick way, like it's some restriction there. It's like, I like girls, you like girls with me, we can do the three-way thing, but it's still rules that's got to be done. She has to feel secure in certain ways in order for them to be able to, I know that sounds crazy, even trying to make some shit like that even make sense, but it's in their chart. It's in their destiny. That's why they went the distance as long as they did until they didn't, right? And he still, I think he just not recently did a interview where it sounded like he, still regretful of the loss of his marriage. And that's why he was acting so, Cancer-wise energy with all them extra bullshit and the emotions and all of that type of thing, right? So, and that Gemini is the variety of women. And that's how he communicates too. And his Venus is there. I mean, it's almost like cheating is just going to be happening, unfortunately. Like, that kind of placement. Really, though. But he'll get a little star. He needs his time for his light to start to shine. But he got some stuff he got to work on. And that's why he have issues in his career. But if he put the work in, Saturn brings rewards. So, now that we see that, let's get into the messages and the reading. And I always remember I'm going to pull some clips for you guys so you can see, the kind of whatever the little updates are, what's being said. So let's get into this reading and see why these two broke up. And we're going to even ask about Iman too, all right? So let's get into it. All right, so family. So this is a few clips, okay? I just pulled a couple just to kind of let you hear, you know, TikTok reactions and, you know, think tank thoughts on this relationship. And make sure you guys sound off in the comments and tell me what you guys really think, you know, about Aaron Pierre and Teyana Taylor, and even the energy around, you know, Iman Shumpert. And it got interesting in the reading, guys, when it was time to even ask about him. And I don't know why I asked about him, considering that I don't know if their divorce is final or, you know, are they tightening up towards the end of it? I'm not sure. Make sure you guys sign off in the comments and keep me updated. But a very interesting energy, especially between the two of them, you know, amid divorce and all of the kind of issues that they've had too publicly, you know. So let's get into the cards, and shout out to Empire too, all right? And shout out to all the dope content creators. You should be able to see them, you know, as the clips go by. So let's get into it, Soul Family.
How the hell we end on a year like this? Aaron and Teyana have broken up after less than a year of dating. The thing is, I didn't even find this off on page 6.
Aaron Pierre finally revealed why he broke up with Teyana Taylor not even a year after dating. And it's not what you think it is, but from the start, it was low-key. Teyana Taylor and Aaron Pierre didn't come out swinging as a loud, PR-heavy couple. Early 2025, they popped up together at the 15% Pledge Gala in Los Angeles. And at first, people weren't even sure if it was a thing. But then they kept popping up. And suddenly, it was clear this wasn't accidental. Not long after that, they were seen together at the Vanity Fair Oscars party, which is already a statement in itself.
Y'all remember February, they hard launched this. We were like, oh, is this for a movie? Are they together? What's going on? And then they made it official on Instagram.
Then Aaron showed up in the trailer for Teyana's 2025 album Escape Room. And that steamy kiss?
Tampering with broken truths, mixed feelings, and untamed emotions.
Yeah, that wasn't subtle. At that point, the rumors were basically confirmed without anyone having to say a word. By June, Teyana made it official with photos from Aaron's 31st celebration. And from there, things moved fast.
Baby, come deeper than your breath.
In an interview with Complex, Teyana said Aaron was very gentle and that he made her feel safe.
You are being treated so well by a young Brit. Perhaps you may know him as Stopper, but we know him as Aaron Pierre. Yeah!
Then suddenly, it stopped. Fans noticed it before the headlines did. Fewer appearances, no new posts together. That's when Page 6 reported that the two had quietly gone their separate ways after less than a year of dating. No dramatic reason given, just sources saying they moved on. Fans said, it was nice whilst it lasted, I'm sure they both had fun. Someone else called it for what it was. That was never a serious relationship, but cute fun and some good PR. And a third person said, the first guy you get with after a breakup never lasts. And the truth is, both of them hit career peaks at the exact same moment. Teyana was heading into award season, Oscar conversations, press runs, and Aaron was locked into blockbuster schedules, international shoots, non-stop travel, and franchise-level commitments. So when relationships end like this, it's usually not because something went wrong, it's because something else took priority.
How the hell we end on a year like this? Aaron and Teyana have broken up after less than a year of dating.
Honestly, in my personal opinion, in my personal single-ass motherfucking opinion, I'm actually happy that they didn't go into the new year with their relationship, because I honestly don't think it was real, to be honest. Honestly. And honestly, if you ask me, my unwanted opinion, because this is just my opinion, this is none of this is proven to be certain. But I feel like he liked men and she liked women, and it was just a cover-up. Both of them was using each other as a cover-up. I don't know. Quote me if I'm wrong. But Teyana always gave, like, she could either be a stud, because she found the seal, you know. She could pull off the stud, she could pull off the, what they call them, femme studs or the studettes. You know, she could pull it off either way, but I really do think she like girls. And you could just look at him and tell that he like boys, or men, or whatever the case may be, whatever, you know, whatever flops from your doc. I'm really finna start saying that. I like that. But no, for real, I do think they was like both using each other as a cover up, and you know, you could only do that for so long. So you can't entertain each other no more. You know, you can't arouse each other no more. I don't know, that's just my opinion though. I don't know.
So the relationship between Teyana Taylor and Aaron Pierre is over, according to Page 6. According to Page 6, they said Teyana Taylor and Aaron Pierre have split after less than a year of dating, sources exclusively tell Page 6. They say the breakup news comes after unconfirmed rumors began popping up online that they parted. Did I miss those rumors? Maybe I just don't pay enough attention to these personal lives. The reason for the split, according to page 6, they said that it's unclear, but sources say that they have gone their separate ways. It's interesting timing that this is happening. Maybe someone's about to come out with a new relationship and they want to kind of get ahead of the story, or maybe the contract is up on this particular relationship, because I've seen those rumors where people have speculated that this just seemed to be a relationship to up the ante for both of their public careers. I know what you're going to say, Kempire, you think that about every celebrity relationship. Countdown begins for Taylor and Travis.
Cannot trick me! You cannot trick me!
So
Yeah, at some point it was going to happen. So Teyana Taylor and Aaron Pierre just broke up, right? Now, I always tell you guys, yo, one thing for certain, bro, a bird always makes a way back to the streets, whether it's 6 months, a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, she's going to eventually return, because if a woman leaves a good man for the streets, she's always going to be in the streets, bro. She left a good man, a man who married her and who was willing to live with her for the rest of her life. She left a guy like that for the streets. So at some point, y'all already know she was going to return back to the streets. Now, sources exclusively tell page 6 that the singer, actress, and the rising British star have split after less than a year of dating. Online chatter had already begun swirling in recent days, but insiders now confirm the pair have officially gone their separate ways. The exact reason behind the breakup remains unclear. Who knows, man? Who knows? But it's the simple fact that she left her family just to become a single mother, just to be free. And this is why I always tell you guys, bro, regardless of how hard you try, like, you could love a woman to death, but if she's for the streets, there's nothing you could do, bro. Just think about this, bro. She ruined her entire family. For what? For what? Iman Shumpert still hasn't gotten over the situation. He's still messed up about the situation, man. So, fellas, look, be wise out here, bro. Because she made sure, for whatever reason, this shit got ended before the year is over. Now, to me, shouts to Aaron Pierre, because he benefited. He had his fun and he moved around. She put him on the map. Everybody knows about him now. He's probably going to be in a bunch of movies, and the chicks is after him. So he's in a good position. So shouts to him. So in this situation, he won. He either won or he got away. Either way, that's a blessing. But this right here is wild, man.
Hey, so family, so these cards right now are going to be on Miss Teyana Taylor, okay? And the Aaron Pierre. And I think we might as well go ahead and ask about her ex-husband, Iman Shumpert, as well. So let's get into it. I already put the cards, and I cleared the my meditation bill to clear the energy. So let's get into it, all right? So okay, and okay, let's get into it. We're gonna start with her current energy, okay? And then we'll build. So let's just see what's going on. What's going on with Miss Teyana? So let me put these here. What's that? I'll definitely use those. Let's sit these right here. Okay. I'll clear the cards, and then we're gonna see what's going on with her. Hope y'all doing good. Happy New Year. Make sure that you guys get a chance to check out your New Year, shorts, quick messages, and lucky angel numbers, okay? And I'll also be putting some stuff out for the full moon that's coming in. Should be by today now while I'm recording this. So let's get into it. So let's see her current energy. Okay, so let's do that. Okay. That's weird. Okay. I guess that wanted to come out, huh? I'll just put that there. Okay. Wow. This came this way, so we don't do it like that. Okay. Thank you for that. Okay. Okay. Oh, wow. Interesting. Okay. Give me a second, guys. Let's unpack. Okay. Interesting focal point card, too. So I'm interested to see what her cards actually look like. Oh, wow. Wow. Powerful. Let me sit that there. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Let me turn my heater off, guys, because I know someone said the sound was horrible. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry, y'all. My bad, okay? I don't want it to be in your ear. Sorry about that, okay, guys? At least I caught it early on before we really got down to business, right? You gotta remember that was in the upright, so let's get into it. Wow. Interesting. Teyana. And the reason why it took me such a moment to pause is it's always a lot of different messages within the cards. And it's interesting that her current past and, current energy is the Death card. And when you see that, it's interesting that that particular card, if you were watching me, shuffle, is that it came out sideways. And when I read the messages sideways, it's always energy gives me like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, over here, over there. The energy of like a, push, pull, whichever way you want to, kind of see it. But it's interesting that the Death card is here because it's not about a physical death, but about transformations. And I think that even when we were looking at her chart, she had Pluto in that house of his home, which is a very powerhouse placement for it to be in the 8th house. And so it's interesting that we definitely closed out a cycle of this past year, of 2025. That's a 9. And now we're back into, 2026 coming into a 1, which starts the beginning of a whole new cycle for her. So this is like major transformation in her life in so many areas. And her having the energy of and understanding it too, let me say, with the card being sideways, is like, well, these are all the things that I didn't never know that I would be dealing with in my life, or I would be facing, or, lessons, trials, even tribulations and any challenges, all of the good, all of the bad. It's like on this one end, you know, you are not only have gone through these, you know, cycles and lessons and, like you said, trials. Now it's a part of her journey, right? And she's went through it. But on the other coin, you know, these particular things that have, you know, I would say put here to break her, so to speak, right? It's only catapulted her. You know, the power on the other side of the coin is through, you know, somewhat of a transformation of closing out a cycle of a marriage. You know, it kind of puts you in an energy and even action, if we can be safe to say and see it, you know, more projects coming from her, more creative projects. And when I say that, you know, Teyana Taylor has her hands in a lot of different, you know, bags. And I don't know if people really know that, because they probably think of her as like a singer and a super dope performer, you know, dancer, all of the things. But she's been acting, of course. I know y'all saw her on All's Fair. And in other projects, I think that she's also been acting in, you know, but also it was something else she's doing. Oh, she did the, I think the, I don't know if I want to say not choreography, but the creative, the way the background, the way the tour looked for NBA YoungBoy, right? So it's catapulting her on the other side of it all, right? So through these transformations, you know, she has somewhat, you know, elevated and gained more power, more opportunities, more powerful opportunities, especially on the cast of All's Fair. And I know they gave it a hard time and say they didn't like it, but I actually really liked it, and I'm hoping that they will give them another season. And I think they say they did, so I hope so. But also, this is the energy of how she feels in it all. Damn sure a trooper, but at the end of the day, you know, the grief of the loss, but then you move forward to what fulfills you, you know, like I said, dealing with, she just, even in this relationship with him, what is his name? Aaron Pierre, right? This is the end of it. So we're seeing it happen. And let me say this too, guys. Remember, death is not, you know, it could be a complete ending of a cycle, or it can be a situation, a cycle of change that certain, you know, things about that person had to shed away, or, you know, go through these transformations and lessons and, you know, all these things that bring you to your journey. And then you start new. Remember, the card is sideways. It's 1 foot in, 1 foot out, right? So a lot of new beginnings. And maybe in some of her new beginnings, you know, or maybe for some of new beginnings, as she goes into this next cycle, well, she's definitely going into it. But it may be the resistance of change on some level, right? And then you have the Emperor here and that energy, and that's that energy to lead, right? To control. To be respected, right? This kind of says a lot too. Let me say this. She has a strong energy, and when it comes to a partner, right? She is like, has to have a certain level of control on some level, because the death card is definitely can be, you know, you can be resistance to it. But with this Emperor energy, it's kind of like a strict, like a control, right? And Ace of Wands are the new creative projects. And let me say something, guys. And you know what's starting to come in? And it's funny because the card is sideways. And you like, damn, where you going with this, E? Where you going with this? I'm getting there because I'm trying my best to, get it out to you where you understand what it is that I'm seeing. Because the cards speak. And it may be an energy of her, right? Because this is about cycles with this Death card. Gaining opportunities, right? Gaining, new roles, all these different opportunities to do things in this creative industry. But maybe for him, he would want more roles or want to be doing more with his career, right? It may be the conflict, because the Page of Swords is definitely conflict. And news of conflict, news that these two broke up, right? They parted ways. This could be, again, an energy of, it could be PR in a sense, right? Because Wands is about creativity and new beginnings and, creative endeavors. They are a part of the industry, right? Conflict, and if this is a PR benefit, you benefiting more from this relationship than I am. It's brought you power, but left me with not as much. It's interesting, right? And look at that. And this is what came out, that these two parted ways. Sex definitely wasn't an issue. That's a fact. But this is the conflict. Because look, this is the five of Wands right here. And it's interesting that it's Wands. And Wands are about action, motion, creativity, passion, desire, right? And that's all this is. So this is basically a PR energy that just ran its course. But they definitely had good placements together. So you can see the passion. She wasn't lying about that. That's for sure. Because this is about competition. When you see that Five of Wands, right? And remember I said this is the energy giving me of the disagreements between the two of them. The Two of Cups is here. And look at the stress that it brought. Wow, the messages can't be made up, right? It began to just, be too much. It was a struggle with these two. Strength in reverse. Look, the focal point of the card is strength in reverse. This is about no growth, no expansion, not beneficial for me. We can part ways. What we gonna say? How we gonna make it? How we gonna, go at the story? Page of Swords, right? The news. How we gonna break the news? Because it was a good look for us, but really it ain't beneficial for us at all. Strength in reverse is the focal point. And then you got the head of the creative leader, the Emperor, right here in reverse, right? And this is about career if you want to look at it. I always say for me, sorry about that, my children, they doing their thing today. Hell, it's Saturday. Now, late night anyway. But anyway. That's the industry for me on the table a lot of times when you see the emperor. And it's interesting that this is about, they could have already been kind of been in a separate situation. It's just a situation where they went ahead and finally, with that Page of Swords, broke the news to everybody, right? Because this is what this is all about. But this was challenging. These two, they had challenges, right? One, you know, more successful than the other, or one gaining opportunities and someone else doesn't feel like that, you know, much has come from it. That's the vibe that those cards gave. That's deep. So let's ask, since we just saw her general energy, right? Let's ask why they broke up. Let's do that. We got general energy. Let's see why they broke up. We're gonna just, we can see, but let's back it up. As a matter of fact, this is the reason why I stopped. Let's use this deck to see why they broke up. Let's see what's happening. Her and Sagittarius, let's see. It's funny, they damn sure had they definitely have good sex, but somewhere, you know, in their communication, it's like it's good until it's not, or something like that. We kind of saw it, interestingly enough, but I want to see. Damn. I guess this can kind of do that too. Sideways, sort of. Okay. Funny how the conflict is there. So the conflict is definitely a thing, right? And we ain't even getting his cards yet. We just in hers. Oh, wow. This is interesting. Let me make sure I keep that one where I can see it. Hold on, sorry, I gotta. Okay. Yes, they got the same card. Y'all would not even believe. That is crazy. So, again, justice, right? That's interesting. Eight of Coins. I don't know what y'all got me hearing and listening, because that's crazy. Like, that's crazy. Okay, so Justice, Eight of Coins, Page of Wands. What about messages? Eight of Cups. Let me say something. We still back at one, right? And sorry for the pause. I just have to unpack. And the Eight of Coins is here. That's still about work. Justice is here, right? Still balance. And the conflict is, you can very well say that this was definitely done, could be a fixed, a couple put together for reasons to, elevate creatively. Because again, the Page of Wands is here. But remember, in her original cards, that was the Page of Swords, the communication, everybody realizing and hearing that there's a breakup. This is them, focal point of the reading is Five of Swords. It's still conflict, right? They got the other Five of Swords, competition. Conflict because with the swords here, the issue. You're elevating creatively, but I'm not. Eight of Coins in reverse. Not, beneficial, not delivering. I'm sorry, y'all. I mean, all kind of ways. And it's interesting because with that Page of Wands in reverse, again, this is about, what they do, acting. No ideas forming right now for me. No opportunities. We need to move on forward. I need to find a new path. I need to, this isn't working. It's not financially working. King of Coins. Is making it where I'm disrespectful. King of Cups in reverse. So it's time for me to move on. Should we let it go and just go ahead and say we done, or should we go on and move forward? Eight of Cups, boom, boom, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, right? One thing about it, these two have great sex. It's through and through in the messages, okay? But they got the same messages here again. Nine of Swords, that was her cards, remember? The card of worrying, being stressed, giving anxiety. And maybe that's why I'm doing all this. A level of anxiety, right? But the World card is saying, just like that Death card. And remember, should we stay or go? So this must be the energy that's going on between them guys. Because what's the odds of me getting more than one card that's coming out sideways? And remember, Death is about, look, should we stay or should I go? Same energy. Should I stay or go? The World is basically the same as the Death card. Anxiety about coming to the forefront with the news of it's over with, but this is on to a new chapter. And maybe that could be the way one of each feels about it. It's interesting that the closing cards is the Page of Cups and the Lovers. Maybe this was a connection that started off in the energy of, you know, with this one foot in, one foot out card where they were put together, you know, allegedly, or, you know, for whatever reasons, PR wise. And maybe it's the energy where that's all it should have been, and a little bit more came out of this. And now it's the energy of, you know, conflict. Is it really worth it? Or should we stay? Or should we go? It's interesting. They communicated very well. She was accurate about him meeting her emotional needs. And maybe that was something for her that's unexpected. And maybe for him as well, and vice versa. Because remember, I said even in the chart, it's definitely a level of alignment with the two of these, but it's interesting. And this also is the energy of her divorce, too. And I don't know his whole history, but I know they said that he was with somebody, too. I just don't know the whole backstory. Y'all can sound off in the comments and let me know. And this is the energy again, Ace of Wands, right? This is the, you know, opportunity, the new creative projects, career, new beginnings, and then this other energy, Four of Swords, in reverse. That's stagnation. Like, it's fruitful for you, but it's, you know, pretty much no action or movement for me. So hell, they done had to make a decision to just move on and move forward, right? And let me say this too, the reason why I paused, right? Something in these cards, right, in the messages, even in her messages, you know, we both know that she, you know, she is definitely very sexually open, right? So when you see that justice in reverse in that energy, this is the energy of, you know, being free about what I do, but with that Eight of Coins right there, right? It's about, it still brings an imbalance. It's still not the best idea career-wise for where I am right now and what I'm trying to do, my goals ahead on what I want to achieve, what I want to put my hands on, and just not quite right now for my image, right? Or what it is I need to do. And this could be him and her, allegedly. He could be going through some things of maybe not facing, you know, whatever his true desires are. But it all has to do with career, work goals. Page of Wands is here. Ace of Wands is here. So, definitely so. And Page of Wands is in reverse because this will be negative news for me, right? And this is really for both of them in a sense. So something about this energy. That's neat. Let's see. What is the, let's see what his current energy is. Let's ask. You know what? Let's ask how Teyana feel about Iman Shumpert, right? Let's see. I'm going to use these cards. I ain't got it with them. What is the current energy for her ex-husband? Thank you, Pierre. I'll let that go because of the way it kind of popped up. It's kind of interesting. But, okay. Ooh, it's kind of the same messages. Okay, I got it. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Sorry about that, y'all. Okay, guys. Interesting. It's so interesting what came out, right? And the reason why I paused is because we said, well, how does she feel about Iman? And remember, I said this card was just the way it kind of felt a little weird. So I was like, let me just put it off to the side, right? But you got the 10 of coins here. And that's about family. You know, regardless of all what they've been through, this is her family. This is her children's father. This is who she has her children with. And honestly, this was what would be her desire, right? But it was such a struggle. Look at that. The conflicts they had, right? He was disrespectful. She felt like you disrespected our family, nigga. Look at strength, right? That's deep, right? Because it can mean a lot of different things. You know, these two, they had a lot of conflict between each other, but it's a lot of love. It's like the conflict is because the love is so strong. Strength is here and it's in a position of strength, right? But it's a level of disrespect that Teyana felt that Iman did. It's like strength here, right? Judgment. That's the extra card over to the left. That's crazy, right? And when you see that, it's like I gave you rules, right? It's in the messages. You know, we had a pact, strength. Like, this is how we're gonna do things, but you went left. Like, you just start being on the bullshit, the fool card. Just foolish, you know, reckless, disrespectful energy. Knight of Wands reversed. Just couldn't keep it in your pants. The disrespect of it all, right? That's a big thing with her. And the 2 tens are here. That's deep. 10 of coins, 10 of cups. You broke us. And they all in position where love is still very much there. I didn't expect to see that. I thought she moved on. You got 2 moons here. You got the moon, which is a lot of the, shadow work and transformation. She probably doesn't even did therapy. Remember that death card was there, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. But her losing this marriage, this right here with Iman, guys, this has really, brought a lot of mental clarity. She's learned a lot. Sometimes you need that. So you can grow, your soul can grow, my soul can grow. You feeling like unfulfilled in certain levels that come to your legacy and what you want to achieve for your life, your career, your success. But at what cost? The 10 of Cups is here. So your reckless ways cost the family, right? 10 of Cups. This is a new year. So, she had strong messages of amazing new things ahead, especially creative projects and stuff that have to do with her career, right? This is about manifesting her desires. And she could even be doing that type of energy right now just at the top of the year, period. But both are going through cycles of change. And remember I said, the way those cards kept leveling out regardless, something about her, she could be maybe committed to an extent, right? 1 foot in this, but maybe her heart might be somewhere else. Remember that last card before on her first spread was that 2 of Cups over there in the upright. And it's interesting because the love is coming through for Iman. It's not coming through for Aaron Pierre. Aaron Pierre looks like, we co-workers that turn into something really special. And do I like you and love you enough to, go the distance, and really this ain't really working out with what we thought it was as far as career? Because I feel like hers has got a lot more, and correct me if I'm wrong. Like I said, say something in the comments, y'all. Sound off, but I do feel like her star has, the moon is came out and shine, right? And look, 9 of Wands. It's interesting. We asked Iman, right? That's the test of faith with the 4 Wands, with the house divided. The struggle, the breakdown you brought to the home. And I want to say that he did an interview recently. We're going to pull his energy too. She felt lack of support by him. This is the divorce. And maybe that was a challenge for these guys. I think she is divorced, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. Are they divorced? I'm not sure. I think they just going through it, right? But he doing the Wayne things, and it's a good look for him. But they do have a beautiful family, and I hate to say it, but just even based on the energy of the cards. Look at the last card. Top of the deck, bottom of the deck, Ace of Cups, right? And the Devil. His unhealthy patterns cause the divide. Maybe she had some unhealthy patterns that caused the divide. But this is about good sex, y'all. Like, toxic. Like, remember I said her energy comes in strong, even in her cards, you know. Maybe her strength sometimes was too strong for Iman, you know. She's a strong woman. A lot of emotion and passion, too. It's interesting. But this is about holding back what you truly desire, which in your mind you feel like it's an unhealthy pattern. It's not good for you, but this is your true desire. She angry at him, but she love him. It's in the messages. That's deep. Let's see how Iman feel about her. We at 43 minutes. We going. These messages these things be telling stories, don't they? Let's use this deck. Let's stick with it. I done went all outside. She ain't with Iman no more. Let's see how Aaron Pierre feel, and then we'll go back into accent. That was deep though, honey, mine and little messages. Okay, so we're gonna ask what his current energy is. Cause has he even said anything or any statements, anybody? I just think it just was the news, bro, showing the breakup, which we clearly saw in the messages through and through. Nine of Swords was the breakup we saw, right? News of that. So let's see. What you over there doing, boy? Let's see. Thank you, Spirit. Damn, this is so interesting, right? A lot of the same messages. I said his current energy right now, right? It's the Star in reverse. And for me, this is the focal point energy. Remember I said this is about him. This is about his career. And in this card and this energy, to me, that's what this represents. And I might keep saying, I can't remember either way it go with the Gemini and Aquarius energy. This is the message for him right now. We in Capricorn energy right now, so the challenges. This is Six of Swords, because the relation, they already done broke up. That's why it's in reverse. You know, but this is about, look at this. This is about no progress in my Emperor career. So Tower moment is here because of, sorry about that, Soul Family. I actually ran out of memory and I was like, man, I'm just talking. But I was saying that the Tower is here, but the way that the Tower is actually positioned is, again, the energy. It's like the messages are the messages. And what I'm saying is that this is about avoiding it. So this is basically the same energy of let me cut my losses. You know, it's definitely been more fruitful for you. But for me, you know, I'm going in a different direction. Basically, food, new beginnings, Queen of Swords, you know, just the energy of right now we see them, you know, basically the breakup is here, you know, the gossip is here, and then this allows them to move on past this, and each person is, and it's funny because this food energy says a free spirit, and I think I said that in the messages in regards to even him and her, you know, they have such an alternative, even their Venuses as well as their placements in their charts, you know, alternative ways of love, unconventional ways of love, and, you know, it could very well be an energy of a free spirit, okay? So the star is here, and again, this is his career, right? To me, this is all image, work, you know. Normally, this would be about, you know, lack of inspiration, but since he's a star, you know, it's the energy of just what it is, right? It hasn't shined as brightly as hers. This is all under condition. Cool while it lasted. Time for me to move forward. Time for you to move forward. You know? Interesting. So let's ask, I want to ask, since we see Aaron Pierre and how he feels, and pretty much it just is what it is. They definitely had some nice, sexy times. We know that much, you know. But this just was the end of the road for them. So let's ask real quick, and then we'll ask what's ahead for Teyana, which we clearly see new projects, but we'll ask really quickly. Let's ask now about Iman. Let's just see his current energy, because I see him, you know, kind of like came up in the messages, going a different direction. So let's check it out. So all right, so let's see. We'll just do a 3-card pull. Okay. Ooh, the cards be having such a sense of humor, okay? And you gotta love it. You gotta love it, and you gotta love the truth, okay? So I said, what the heck? What's going on with Iman Shumpert right now? His current energy, you know. And I said, let's just do a quick 3-card pull. Well, we know that, you know, we in a new year. So it's some things that projects that he's been working on, guys. And, you know, some things that he's been working on actually for a while. And, you know, maybe there's certain things that he's pivoting to, like being in the skits with Country Wayne. you know, but he's actually in a place of gratitude when it comes to what he wants to, which direction he wants to see change. Meaning, I don't know if he's still playing basketball, but I just know that, you know, these other ways that he's pivoting has actually prepared him for changes ahead for the better, like where he's putting in the work and he's gonna see a harvest. Like harvest comes in fall. And remember, Jupiter is in Cancer and he's a Cancer sun. So, you know, he's been putting in the work and it looks like he's going to be continuing to put in the work because it looks like things are going to, you know, really, really be blessed for him in the fall season, right? The devil energy is here. So, you know, that's the reason, that's the cause and the pause for the cause of the situation with him and Teyana. You know, he got unhealthy patterns, you know, toxic ways, toxic, you know, maybe even patterns and habits, allegedly. But what I'm saying is, this is an energy that plays a part, you know, with him going forward, right? But in this season, even because it looked like it's like, okay, prepare for change, right? So negative karmic connections, all of these things in the energy space, right? And it's like maybe this will be a time that he will make changes in his ways, you know? It's interesting because the card's saying prepare for change, right? Long-term plans, you know, even within a few months, but gratitude. So working through all these karmic connections, these toxic energies and situations, you know. Even it's funny that in the energy he's in, and I think he was just recently in the news, and this is what this represents too, in the energy of energetic implants, you know, codependency energies. But, you know, it was him and a group of women of 3. But these, honestly, this is really, honestly, it amazed me how the cards we did previously with her and how the messages were coming out. But it's very clear that, you know, he had more of toxic ways maybe than she had, because this is what has affected his 10 of Cups, right? You know, and maybe it's the energy of him really working on some, you know, maybe going through these toxic patterns ahead that are, you know, situations that he's dealing with, right? In his mess that he's created for himself, clearly, you know, and especially with the loss of you know, his marriage, and even with the relationships kind of being up and down. But it's like he for an energy of him wants to feel emotionally fulfilled. So it's like he's on a journey ahead, preparing for changes and transformations for him as well. And really, really going through these tests and this journey and these, you know, conflicts and these situations, like you said, in karmic connections, so they can, it's like it's building him for and making him understand what the 10 of Cups really truly is, what being emotionally fulfilled really is. And that could be a real thing for him because he is a Cancer sun, right? 4 of Coins, you know, again, making decisions for him. And, you know, that's also about material money, you know, being stingy, right? Very possessive energy, Iman. But money has caused him, guys, to pivot into new ways of doing things and new ways to bring in income because it's in the messages, right? So this has been the drive for him finding his way to, you know, new ways of doing things. And in this process ahead, and even now, he's going through the lessons. I'm not sure of his age, but, you know, his Saturn return could probably be in the energy too, look like, with the things that he's dealt with. But again, he's still dealing with being no good. Look, King of Wands in reverse, Seven of Swords. You know, continuing to be with these toxic energies. And let me say this, preparing for change is also a message of him carrying on with this type of energy, right? Can bring some negative outcomes that can affect him and his family. So that's an energy that he needs to really kind of hone in on. But it looked like he having a real nice time, look, and doing exactly what he want to do. Finessing and look, spreading his wand all around, unpredictable. Ooh, these messages be funny, don't they? So Iman is still toxic, honey, and that is why Teyana is like, nigga, bye. Okay? That is a message, okay? That is hilarious. So y'all, let's pull up some messy cards and get on up out of here. I think that was pretty cool to see what these people got going on. Well, we clearly saw, you know, like I said, my messages kind of get down to business, and we saw that old girl got new projects and actual successful projects ahead going forward. Challenges ahead, but also good things ahead, you know? And she'll continue to push forward. I don't know about relationship, look like for him could be soon, or maybe they'll, you know, I don't know if it's a PR, then pair him with somebody, but if it ain't, you know, then I don't know. If it's not a PR, then he'll look like he'll be showing up with somebody else soon. For her, it looks like she's going to continue to move forward. She's going to continue to create, expand, and maybe even do some healing in the midst of all of this. And when she do things, it look like it'll just be some things here and there that will be private. And it look like for her, you know, it's all about, she got some things that, you know, how can you say, standards, or, you know, this has taught her what she really wants going forward, right? Teyana. So this is the energy in her cards of, even in relationships, it's possible, you know, she's definitely open, but she got boundaries now. She understand, okay, so this is what I'm going to need and require, you know? So let's get us some messy messages and see what's going on. So in other words, she going to date and casually do her, and if it's something that, you know, grows into something, okay, but I don't know what to say about Iman and his toxic ways. Okay. There you go. Alright, so let's start with my cup of tea. And let's see what's up. All I could think about, y'all, when they say, remember when he was on the Jennifer Hudson show and they were like, it's Aaron Pierre, that's Mustafa. And I think I don't know what that is, like the little dancing line or whatever it is. It's funny. One more time. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. right, let's see. All right. Okay, so let's see. Let's do a little dig now. Let's see. And it's funny, guys, even when I look back at, I gotta go back to the reading that I did on Papoose and Clarissa, but I think that we got so many pages for so much news, and ain't they just in the news like every 5 seconds? Oh my God, those messages was truthful, right? Going back and forth with 50. You know, yesterday it was this. Yes, tomorrow is something else, and it's things I think I said that's gonna hurt her brand, you know? Or the brand she trying to build, rather. But anyhow, anyway, I'll take those just because they, the way they were. Okay. Okay, so here we go. That's funny that that's right there at the bottom of the deck. And I said that's the energy that they give in free spirit. So I'm going to leave that like that over there. That's interesting. In Uranus, opportunities. Let's see. Reading, doing the record, almost finished recording. In just a second, I'm doing it now. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. What you say, son? What you about to say? You can say it. What you about to say? Okay, I'm almost done. Sorry about that, y'all. I'm gonna let that one come, but let's see. All right, let's do it. All right, let's start with the, you know, I gotta start with my cup of tea first, so family. In no particular order, but the messages aren't, but let's get into it. Okay, let's sit beside those piles that way. So lipstick evidence, infidelity, caught cheating, betrayal. There could be the energy both ways in this situation with her and him, as well as the situation with, you know, her and her ex-husband, okay? So vibes, sensing something, unexplainable feeling, listening to intuition, okay? I'm telling you, she been going through a lot of, you know, transformation and changes. Laid up, cuddle session, intimate moments, escaping the world together. That could have been, you know, some good energy that they had. Remember I said they had some really sexy times based on, the cards, allegedly. Adulting, okay? Mature efforts, being responsible, keeping shit in check, Like I said, something about his stuff could be a little off, allegedly. And that could have been kind of like a little turn off for her. She done been through some things right now. She kind of understand, how things really need to be handled right now. Just in her life and in life in general is being responsible in adulting. Hands off, territorial lovers, staking claims, scaring off the competition. Remember I said her energy gave real possessive and controlling, but I'm going to say something. Her ex-husband energy gave this energy as well, Iman. Viral, instant fame, going around quickly, gaining popularity. That's the thing. She's been doing it. He hasn't, allegedly. But tell me if I'm right or wrong, y'all. Correct me, okay? So cock blocking, inaccessible third-party interferences, and failed sexual attempts, okay? It could be an energy of either one of them or all three. Everybody kind of got somebody they deal with, in the past. Or somebody they trying to hook up with. But somebody always keep coming between that, That's interesting. Buttering up, using charm, persuasion for personal gain, and finesse. Didn't I say that damn Iman got that energy all in him? It's hilarious. Cuffing season, single and ready to mingle. Ready for a relationship, on the hunt, okay? Remember I said we may see that man mess with somebody a lot sooner. But cuffing season is here. And it's the energy that all of them might just, be single. And like I said, she has some nice hookups and stuff like that. And folks that she favor dating a little bit more, just do your thing, doing your thing, right? That's the energy I'm getting. Freedom, free spirit, doing your thing. If you want to date a girl, date a boy. You get what I'm saying? Third eye, clarity. I said clarity's coming. She's had a lot of clarity. All of them have, actually. Iman for sure. Family, home, commitment. Remember I said that was a lot that kept coming up with that. A lot. Family, home, commitment. And these are the cards that came up each time with her and Iman, and that was interesting. Confusion, Neptune, illusions, the industry. Could have been a contract, allegedly. Can't make it up. Attraction, Mars, hot. Remember I said, baby, they had some hot, sexy nights, and her and her husband had some even more hot and sexy nights, okay? Ace of, energy of water. Ace of Cups, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. All righty, moms. Cancer sun. Feminine. Take that as you may. Could mean a whole lot of things, right? Truth. Expression. Truths are coming out. A lot of people are coming into their truth, right? Learning truths, understanding truths, trust, divine time. Okay now. Regret, repression. Well, we know that we saw that in Iman's cards. And even in Teyana's, just, a bit. But new cycles are here. Pluto, transformation. That was her first card in the deck. Was that not her messages? They constantly got justice and balance and karma. And all of this plays a part. And isn't this interesting that we haven't even done this deck yet? And the bottom of this deck, what is the message? Past life, previous connections, unexplained familiarity, soul memories. I've known you before. Iman is her soulmate. And they both have ways, which any couple But he came out in these messages. He's a water sign energy. Ace. Affinity of love. But it's all about karma, balance, and justice. Because this is a past life connection, right? Contracts, career, commitments. Her divorce. This relationship could have been a contract, allegedly, based on what? Career. Ain't the cards funny? Allegedly, I can't take it. Apology and forgiveness. Remember I said that ain't off the table. That ain't off the table. Possible for any of them. This could be longer down the line, but I'm telling you, they got some energetic cards between her and her ex-husband, especially for them to be divorced. And maybe that's the energy and crazy on why that death card came out. Because it can look like it's over when, if it's sideways, it may not really be over, guys. It might just be this part of the journey, you know, through the cycle. Maybe they'll start a new cycle. Remember, we at New Year. Between the next 1 to 9 years, that's y'all next cycle, right? Hey, the cards and the messages be deep, don't they? So let's read this last deck and we gonna get on up out of here. I enjoyed y'all. Interesting cards. Influencer status, social recognition, online fame, power to influence, swipe up. And she's been doing her big one. And Iman has been on the skids. So look at the messages. And to me, it represents him on the skids because of the picture of the phone and the iPhone. And when you look at your phone, you see the skids. So the Country Wayne skids come up, right? Love bomb. Intense affection too quickly, excessive attention, and overwhelming charm and hidden control. The energy of all of them. This could have been the energy of how this relationship started off with her and Aaron Pierre. That's Mustafa, they said, right? But at the same time, this is Iman getting into, a little tangle with the women when it came down to the news. Because it looked like he was having a little bit too much fun, possibly love bombing. Allegedly. False alarm, exaggerated panic, unnecessary drama, overreaction to minor events, much to do about nothing. So maybe that could be the energy we heard of, with her ex-husband and him, Iman having that issue with the women or whatever. Or we could hear some more news. There was pages in the mix, remember? Triggered, emotional reactions, unresolved wounds, facing past hurts. Why does this bother me? Remember I said that's the energy that she had about Iman and he, vice versa. Status upgrade, new achievements, improved social standing, lifestyle elevation, next level. That's Aaron Pierre's, that's his goal. And this is what Teyana's experiencing. And her level up has been, maybe at the cost of her relationships because they can't take her light. She shines bright. Mirroring each other. Look, me versus me. Self-competition, personal growth, becoming better than yesterday. My only competition. Remember I said that's the energy she's dealing with. That was her first card. Remember, transformation, me versus me. Over here, over there, right? Booked and busy, productivity high, full schedule, no time to waste, success on the calendar. So we're going to say that could be the energy of all three of them going ahead in 2026, right? Blind date, surprise meeting, unexpected chemistry, awkward introductions. Could be love or disaster. Maybe, this was the hookup that didn't work out so well with her and Aaron Pierre, right? Or, Iman experiencing his shakeups and his situations over there with his lady friends, the throuples. It's a match. Swipe right, online dating, instant attraction. Digital romance, match found. Somebody be in somebody DMs, maybe, allegedly. Side hustle, multiple incomes, extra earnings, financial security, and always on my grind. Didn't I say that that's what's going on with the Aaron Pierre energy, even as well as Iman Shumpert? Self-care Sunday, prioritizing rest, recharge emotionally, pampering yourself, and me time matters, okay? So this is the energy I said. She been in the energy of, therapeutic and taking care of herself. Learning lessons, going through the transformation, But Teyana, to me, the side hustle energy represents these new projects that have been productions that she's done on her own, right? And it looks like more to come from her. Luxury life, comfortable wealth, indulgence, enjoying rewards because I deserve it. She deserves it. And she's going to enjoy and she's enjoying the rewards of that and opportunities and blessings. This is this show, this is what Iman longs for, right? Even Aaron Pierre, allegedly. It's the goals. Shocking, you won't believe this story. Clickbait, misleading headlines, empty promises, exaggerated truths, and not what it seems. We can take that a whole lot of ways, right, soul family? That could be in this whole situation being, fake, allegedly, but just, also just energy of when it says exaggerated truths or not what it seems. I'm going to just let you use your imagination with that, right? Allegedly. Sneaky link, hidden encounters, private meetings, discreet intimacy, and nobody needs to know. Some toxic ways going on and all the energy, okay? Somebody could be doing some things on the low and don't need nobody to see what it is that they really doing. It's discreet intimacy, remember? Allegedly. Hustle mode, grinding hard, ambitious drive, determined effort, and sleep can wait. I'm telling you, that's everybody motivation, and this is everybody energy on the table, all three ways. Okay, soul family, so that was Teyana Taylor. That was Aaron Pierre. In some kind of way, Iman Shumpert slid on in there, didn't he? Even though they divorced. Ain't that something? But hey, messages out of messages. And hey, I enjoyed it. And don't forget, guys, to like, comment, and subscribe. All right, peace and love, soul family. I will see you guys soon and in the next one, okay? And don't forget to listen. Go check out your shorts. And I'll be uploading a full moon message and may even go live later, okay? Peace and love, y'all. See y'all soon. Thanks for watching The Common Corner Show. Peace and love, soul family. And I'll see you guys in the next one.